All right, guys. Wow, look, we got some fun stuff on the screen. It's Def Noodles. People have been telling me that apparently I'm in this video, which makes sense. It's called "He Beefed with Critical, then lost 99% of his audience" by SunnyV2, which is obviously not accurate. Dennis lost a majority of his audience because of me. That's not me like bragging or anything. I'm not like proud of it, but we had two interactions, which I'll probably go through in depth while we talk about this video, that like substantially lost him all of his following. It wasn't just me, but I am like honestly the primary reason. The two interactions we had had a very negative impact on his career. I'll even link the debates that we had. There's on my old main channel. This is a new main channel. Because people will say like, "Oh, I didn't like. I thought I followed you," and then you did, but I changed channels to rebuild because we all have highs and lows, guys. And I was acting like a content creator I wasn't proud of. Either way, yeah, the Charlie came in at the tail end, really just to like kind of make fun of Dennis for his John with just to kind of make fun of his terrible comedy show or whatever it was. So yeah, I'll put them in order.
Can you guys hear me?
I'll put the first one in there first in the description. This is the first debate or conversation or whatever we had. And then this is the second conversation that we had. But let's just get this party started with the video. Just to be clear, when it comes to Def, the reason that he's not like popular anymore is his own fault. Not like that, oh, you know, you caused this to happen. No, it's just like he's decided not to get his shit together and start like actually making content that people want to see. Like I see he has two channels where he just like shitposts here. He's gotten a view surge because of the SunnyV2 video, but these numbers are like sub 1,000, like generally speaking. His view surge is just because people like looked at him for once after a long time. This is his new channel where I don't know, he just not doing particularly well. You know, I think.
Hi folks, everybody amazing. Today we're talking about
incredible. I think he needs to tone down the Stifler's mom accent a little bit and like, you know, speak a little bit more articulately, but also like, you know, people liked him because he was the first one to talk about drama news. Go back to doing that or something. Go take advantage of TikTok. Like TikTok is a platform that people do very well on. It's actually a really good main platform right now. They might ban it, but I don't think so necessarily. Maybe it'll get sold, but the monetization is pretty solid. You know, look at like William Johnson. He's doing phenomenally on TikTok and YouTube. He makes like videos of like 1 to 10 minutes a day talking about a story. Goes very well. That's all he has to do, but he hasn't put in any effort to try to be an entertaining content creator. So that's on him. I don't know what to tell you. At the end of the day, nobody really cares. Like, if you want to go watch him again, go for it. I will never like Dennis because of our interaction, but like, who cares about me? What the rest of the people? If he had entertaining content, people would have engaged with his content again. His content's not really entertaining to anybody, and he's not trying to make it entertaining. He's not like putting in any real effort. So I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know. Speak a little more slowly, a little more articulately. Maybe make some. Like, don't stream. Make like a video every day. I'm talking like TikTok, be the news guy, be like SunnyV2 in some capacity. SunnyV2 doesn't respond to criticism. He's not a person, and that's a good thing for his way he operates his content. SunnyV2 is SunnyV2, and he doesn't respond to criticism. Remember the whole Chris Tyson thing? Didn't respond to it once. It was a smart plan from a content creator perspective. Do something like that. Who cares, you know? Anyway, let's get this started.
Noodles. Def Noodles. 500,000
a million in less than a day, bro. Crazy.
Subscribers, but only a few hundred views per video.
Damn. See? These ones are, you know.
The total collapse of his channel had been building for months beforehand, although the final nail in the coffin was
wow, the editing.
An ill-fated beef with Penguin Zero, who also covered. The final nail in the coffin was an ill-fated beef with Penguin Zero.
To be honest with you, I don't even think it was really a final nail in the coffin. I mean, that was when he had switched. He spent all this money to make a little club because he thought he was funny. He thinks he's like a funny comedian. You know, apparently he went to school with the same school that Vince Vaughn went to or something. This was one of the things he claimed. And it was just terrible. And a lot of people kind of clowned on him. And that was his last view surge, was that interaction. And then he tried to milk it. Like, he got criticized by MoistCritical. It was funny. and then he like tried to be, make kind of like a sarcastic fuck you to him, and it just made him look even dumber. It just,
who also covered news and drama, although with one major difference: each creator's level of integrity. While Critical only
and also interest. And MoistCritical is much more charismatic.
covers topics that he's qualified to speak on, Def Noodles began to wreck his image by covering anything and everything with a sloppy, embarrassing, complete lack of research.
Damn.
For example, back when James Charles,
I think he took every single one of the James Charles accusations and like affirmed it completely without, because he did. This is the problem when you do breaking news content, and when it first comes out, if you jump on top of it, you run the risk of it being invalid. This is making me sick, like just the way the image is on there. You run the risk of it being invalid information, and that's going to hurt your credibility, right? If you had just not responded to the criticism, honestly, he would have been fine. That's really what it comes down to. Sometimes you just need to ignore it, even though he did fuck up.
Charles was being accused of grooming, a comedy TikToker named Sammy Sens posted an obviously fake James Charles chat log, captioned with the hashtags funny and meme, making it obvious
I didn't know it was that bad. He reported on one that says funny meme
that the screenshot was an edited joke. Well, Def Noodles rushed to his Twitter writing, "Who could have seen this coming? James Charles exposed by 14-year-old boy, apparently not even looking at the screenshot's original date, when James Charles would have still been a minor himself. To make Def Noodles' obvious lack of research worse, he'd then promote a second, even faker screenshot, with Def Noodles responding in the
Damn, the cat ears are incredible. Thank you so much for the $2 from Pranks PRNKS. Please don't hate on the base god, Dennis Noodles. You're right. Not for nothing. Like when it comes to James Charles, his behavior is incredibly inappropriate. But grooming, probably not. Predatory, it wouldn't be listed as any of that. Definitely inappropriate though. Definitely gross behavior. But what was it? Like he was talking to a 16-year-old when he was 20. Not good. Inappropriate age, in my opinion. But I wouldn't consider it like predatory. James Charles is one of those people who's like kind of a loser. Like he's pathetic, and like he's just like he's not looking for 16-year-olds. He's looking for somebody that'll talk to him, and he's like, "Oh, 16 is not so bad. It's legal in some states." Oh, you know what I mean? That's what I would assume. I don't think that he was going out of his way to try to like fucking groom kids and actually molest them. I just think he's an irresponsible person. And if you can't be that level of responsible, then you really shouldn't be a content creator.
Most immature way. He'd state, "This page is satirical, meaning it's not meant to be taken seriously. Tone is overly serious because it's meant to be satirical."
It's just a joke, guys. It's just a little bit of a goof, a little silly joke. A little bit of a silly little joke. Why play everything off like a joke? Like, why not just say like, "My bad," just move on? Like nobody would have cared. That's the actual advice, because I didn't know it was this bad. Just be like, "Oh, my mistake," and just retract the episode and move on.
The way I present things is so serious. That's what's supposed to be the satire.
Oh, now I get it.
However, this move backfired terribly, as Keemstar would give Def Noodles a taste of his own fake satire.
I'll tell you one thing. This whole lawsuit with Keemstar and Def Noodles can certainly weighed on Dennis's mind considerably. It was ironic because Def Noodles did the same thing to me later, but considerably, because like this guy was going to therapy and like talking, like he was on his like other podcasts that he had talking about how he would talk about Keemstar religiously in therapy. Like it's, like I'll say that my interactions with Dennis is what took this guy down, but the psychological, I don't know, fucking whatever he was going through in private certainly decimated this guy's mental health.
Def Noodles has allegedly groomed girls from ages 12 to 15. Big YouTuber source, victims are scared of him.
Well, if they get any older, you really can't groom them anymore. They're too mature and smart. Just kidding. I'm just fucking around.
And wish to stay anonymous, but may come forward soon. Def Noodles has declined to give us a comment on these allegations made against him. With Def Noodles...
Oh, you're a new viewer. You watched this video and then you saw my name, so you looked me up. That's funny, because I've got a few people have been like, "Oh, I saw you from the video." It's very interesting.
Then responding to the mockery in another terrible way, by lawsuit.
I am now suing him to clear my name of...
But guys, it's just a joke. It's so interesting because like when you look at Dennis, especially knowing well, I guess what I know, but most of us know if we were through the arc, is that this guy leans on comedy constantly. He's somebody who will constantly talk about everything is comedy over and over again. Everything's a joke. Everything's how he kind of plays himself up as a comedian, and he's not. And I'm not a comedian either. I think I'm funnier than him, but I'm not a comedian either. it's so interesting that like, you know, this like, why is this something that really got to you? You know, like if you're such a comedian, wouldn't this joke just be like kind of funny to you, regardless of whether he could or couldn't sue for defamation? Isn't even the conversation here. It's like, why wouldn't you think that this is funny based on the context? Like, I don't know, some comedian.
These false allegations and to hold him accountable for knowingly making false accusations.
And as summarized by a comment reading, he's been spiraling since the Keemstar lawsuit announcement. This is where Def Noodles'
It's kind of probably true.
life completely fell apart. Because despite suing Keemstar for falsely tweeting about him being a pedo,
Is it gonna be me?
Def Noodles went on to do this to another YouTuber named Papa Guard.
Okay, now we're going to talk about this because this misses a considerable amount of context of like what happened in between. And we'll talk about this moment in a second. Okay, so we'll talk about what was leading up to this moment, and then we'll talk about what happened after this moment once we get through this little bit that seems to be about me, okay? So before this happened, Dennis and I had a big skladoo, and I'm going to link it in the description of the full video. Okay, this was on my old main channel. I've repurposed it as a clips channel as I rebuilt this channel. This is the conversation that we ended up having. I don't know who put these thumbnail things here though. That's crazy. Did I put that there? Weird. I don't even know how it got chaptered. Anyway, that's interesting. AI, dude, crazy. Anyway, what happened in this conversation was there are these people called the B family, very popular content creators. Okay. About, I guess 2 years ago now, these guys, they came out with an accusation against another very considerably much smaller, and I think now like banned, Roblox YouTuber, okay, named Killick. What they claimed was that Killick was a predator, pedophile, rapist, because Killick made a bad joke about their daughter. Let me give you a little context. The daughter's 15, the son is 16, and Killick was 17. Okay? The son hate-rated Killick's server or whatever, or his YouTube, excuse me, which is against TOS, and he should have gotten banned for it. So Killick went on to the B family's son's Twitter, Instagram, and he started going like, oh, your mom's hot. Oh, your sister, like, oh, your sister looks like she could be a porn star. Talking trash. Is it appropriate? No. Given the circumstances, I don't care. Okay? Especially since he was reading through the things, and one of them said like, oh, happy birthday to my big brother. So he actually assumed that the girl was older than him. That's neither here nor there. So they turned that into rapist, predator, pedophile. They overaged him to 19, even though his Instagram and one of the posts said he was 17, and his Twitter, which is the only thing with his post actively like easily available, said he was 16, and they railed against this kid. It was insane. It was insane. Okay, a 17-year-old making a joke to a 16-year-old boy that's fucking with him about a girl he didn't even know was 15. It's insane to call him. You say it's inappropriate. They called him a fuck. They heavily insinuated he was like a predator, pedophile. You can even look it up. The B family propaganda. I'll put this in the description too. There's 2 parts to this. There's part 1 and there's part 2. You don't have to go through all of this yourself, but like just in case you're looking for some stuff to watch, this is me covering it. Dennis didn't watch any of it, didn't know the context of any of it, reported that the B family was like in the right, blah, blah, blah. So I called out Dennis. We had a back and forth, which culminated and blew up into the original conversation that we had. And he looked so bad in that conversation, this one, that like he took a substantial viewership hit. Oh, yeah, the B brother also called him the N-word. I forgot about that. Okay. And the guy was black, by the way. Killick was a black guy. So that's the first huge hit that Dennis took. Obviously, the mental health aspect, probably pretty considerably waiting on him. But I think that at the time, he felt so empowered because he was working with Ethan Klein. He was doing the Streamy Awards or whatever. He was on top of the world, even though he was considerably bizarre. And like that whole thing. Yes, the weaponized girl tears. There was one moment where the B family, mother and father, had their daughter come on and start crying to pretend that she had trauma over this event, which I think is horrible for the parents more than anything else. This was an incident that happened 8 months prior that like nobody knew about until they decided to signal boost it. Like nobody had seen it. We're talking about a Roblox streamer that gets like 5 viewers. Like it wasn't seen at all. This kid got harassed. They got death threats. They were calling him the N-word constantly in his thing, like fans of theirs. He was getting destroyed. What about him? If anybody is traumatized, it would be him, not the girl. So we had a conversation about that. That was our debate here. That's what had a considerable hit on Dennis in the first place. Okay, we're going to get to the second one after we continue this video.
While adding, put this MF on a watch list, he looks mad suspicious.
True, though, in all honesty. And I took that look, I'm going to be absolutely honest with you. I'm going to be real. I took it a little too personally. Okay? And the reason is, like, this isn't even the right one. I took it a little too personally. And the reason is because back on TikTok, a long time ago, I was really big. And I had 2.5 million followers, blah, blah, blah. Like, people who are here who've known about this knew about it for a while. I was verified. And I made a very inappropriate joke. It was, if she's old enough to bleed, she's old enough to breed. And then I said, thank you very much, Andres Lopez, because at the time, there were allegations that he, at 23, slept with a 14-year-old. So that was actually a joke. And people kind of clipped out the end. It was hard to hear in the end because it was in a weird TED Talk filter. So I got canceled for that joke pretty considerably. I spiraled myself mentally wise, and I ended up getting myself canceled because after that, like, I acted like a piece of shit because I was so angry, and then my content got worse. Whatever. So I was very sensitive to this. I shouldn't have been. Looking back, I wish I wasn't so sensitive to this, and I was like, who cares? Because it doesn't matter, you know? But I was very sensitive to it because of that. Yeah, you know what I mean? It is what it is. I got a little too worked up, in my opinion. You know, I wish I didn't get so emotional over that moment. So, but I did get very emotional. Like, embarrassingly.
When people called Def Noodles out for doing the same thing he was suing Keemstar for, Def Noodles claimed he hadn't wronged Papa Gut in any way because 1. My bio says comedian, 2. Since 2019 I've said I covered news as a joke and wasn't meant to be taken seriously, and 3. Saying someone looks like a pedo isn't an accusation, especially when they objectively look like a pedo.
I don't think I looked like a pedo, but it was weird that I made some TikToks with my shirt off. I will say that. That is a little bizarre. I was just lazy, honestly.
As a result, Papa Gut broke down live on stream.
I fucking hate this moment so much. I got so upset over this. I really wish. This is the most embarrassing moment for me because I really wish I didn't get. It was a little more loaded than that. It wasn't just. I'll link the video of me having the breakdown. I really don't want to. I'll link the video of me having the breakdown. It was a little more than that. I'm not going to be specific because it's something that, like, I really don't want to. It's the video. Def Noodles is a bad person. So much stupid lore. But I did get a little upset. I'm not going to be specific. This is a joke to you. I don't even want to. I can't even watch it. It's so cringe for me. Okay, well, I'm going to take the earbuds out. It's a game to you. This isn't a game to me, Dennis. This is so real to me.
After which Def Noodles.
Right, so I cried. The reason I cried was a little bit unrelated. It's so much going on, I can't even explain everything. I was recalling a very sensitive event in the life of a loved one. I don't want to get so specific. That's what I was crying about. It was a pretty intense moment. Again, really wish I didn't. It's one of the biggest reasons why I tell people, you know, maybe don't talk about everything on the internet. But that was what this was about. So this was pretty fucked up that he made this into a shirt. But I mean, at least my head looked nice. I had a nice clean shaven head, so.
Took a screenshot of Papa Gut crying and turned it into a piece of his own merch.
I didn't see any money from that, bro. Probably because nobody even wanted to buy it. Damn, that says a lot about my. That says a lot about me, huh? That says a lot about how you know, sound I am. Introducing the Cry About It shirt. Now you can celebrate all the crybabies in your life with this one-of-a-kind piece for limited time only. Link incredible. Looking back, it's a little more funnier. You know, now that I'm not so loaded up.
Comments such as the fact that Def is making fun of him for this is crazy showed the audience was.
Yeah, I will say I think it was okay that I got, like, emotional. Like, I don't think that because I feel like I shouldn't have, but I don't think that justifies him being a piece of shit about it. But I will say, like, yeah,
losing respect for Def Noodles.
Your platform. I can't even hear myself. Form is going away because you're unjustifiably targeting me,
which began to show in Def Noodles' following, as for the first time ever he began to lose subscribers.
Okay, so now part 2. This led up to part 2. And that's pretty much it. And then we had, like, another conversation. That moment, where the fuck did I put it? That moment led up to part 2, and I confronted him, and we had a whole conversation about it. Right? So it was a lot of different things. That led up to this. That's what this conversation is about if you want to give it a watch. I have a bunch of stuff in the description. I'll try to, you know, when I make this a video, because I'm doing live, obviously, I'll try to organize it a little better so you know what video is what. So, but yeah, that's pretty much leads up to that one.
Although rather than recalibrating and letting his reputation heal, he'd almost instantly jump into another controversy that would ultimately end everything.
So with this is that he was doing his comedy club. He had moved, I think, to California. He moved to California. He started a comedy club. He got a bunch of like comedians to work with him. He was paying them to work with him. And it kind of imploded all at a bad time. He ended up having a falling out with them because he couldn't like pay them anymore or something like that. I don't remember the specifics, but they had a falling out. It was fucking crazy, dude. It was just crazy, and it was wild. And what happened is his first comedy club, we all made fun of it because it was horrible. It was terrible. We all made fun of it, and I think when MoistCritical made fun of it, he saw that as an opportunity to try to like latch on and kind of hate farm for views. But the problem is that like Dennis doesn't know how to hate farm. Like Dennis is no Trisha Paytas. Trisha Paytas can hate farm. All right. Dennis can't. He's clearly too sensitive to kind of do something like that. He's no Gabby Hanna. So he kind of just lost his shit and he just got toppled down. Because this MoistCritical apology video was the best video he put out there in a while.
A beef with Penguin Zero. In addition to reporting the news, Def Noodles had made the claim that he was apparently a professional comedian. He'd stated,
"Oh yeah, at the show, I think he made fun of me. I think he made another joke about me being a pedophile or something." I just remember reacting to this drunk while I was in Disney with my wife, and like it was funny. And I was doing very well financially then too, until I restarted. Although I'm close back to there, so it's just funny. Yeah, it's incredible stuff.
I have a background in comedy. I trained literally for years as an improviser.
That's rough, man.
Performed
I would get a refund.
in basically every major theater and comedy venue in New York and LA.
What does that mean? Like you jacked off onto the stage? What the fuck do you mean you performed?
Every stand-up place, every place that you can think of and you can find on Google, I've performed there, which Def Noodles went on.
I think another thing too is like his dad is rich. Isn't it so interesting that like everybody's dad or mom is like fucking rich? Like it's crazy how most of these YouTubers come from money. In some capacity.
To prove by showing an awkward
No, I wasn't drunk inside of Disney. I was drunk at home. I was like, oh, I'm gonna, or not at home, at the hotel. I was like, oh, I'm gonna drink and I'm gonna watch Def Noodles. I'm gonna get fucked up and I'm gonna do a reaction video while I'm at Disney. I worked while I was at Disney. I think I made like $300 on that video. So it's like, oh, you know what I mean? Like that's what I was doing. I was on fucking Disney with my wife, enjoying my life, making money, fucking drunk reacting to terrible comedy videos. While, you know, this guy was bombing on stage. And
funny clip of him performing live.
Yeah, I got boy problems.
Def Noodles clearly couldn't see that he wasn't as good as he thought. However, this didn't stop him from opening his own 50-person comedy club, christening the venue with an event called Super Roast Battle.
I just remember that girl on stage said the F slur because she was a lesbian or whatever, and then they banned his Twitch. Or at least for like a little bit. It was funny.
It ran for an hour and a half and was streamed to a live audience on both Twitch and YouTube, leaving no space for mercy if the event was a total failure. And a total failure the event would certainly be.
Everything that can't go wrong will go wrong, folks. Remember that.
The first 24 minutes saw the audience sitting there waiting, and it's therefore no surprise they weren't exactly hyped when Def Noodles finally started the show.
Well, my understanding was that there was an individual who showed up there with half the audience just to fuck with him and troll him. And it I mean, it was going to be horrible anyway, but it contributed to the downfall of the event.
All right, LA, are you ready?
Oh yeah, he's too old to be wearing cat ears. Yeah, apparently the guy's like 38 years old right now, or 37. Like it's bizarre. He lied about his age, like overaging himself 10 years. It was so weird.
You ready? I don't know about this. I don't think we're gonna do the show anymore. This crowd's like they're
That would have been a great call.
all asleep.
These 24 silent minutes were spent setting up the unprepared lighting and sound, which clearly hadn't been checked or rehearsed.
Although that didn't happen to the second event. Oh no, it didn't. Maybe I just got my timing off. I could be wrong about it.
Things only got worse when the roasts actually started.
Oh, maybe that was the second event. Oh, I'm thinking of the second event. Am I? Sorry, there's so much lore.
You look like you woke up in a dumpster.
Yeah, I'm younger than him. I'm 32 or 33. I'm gonna be 34 in like a week though. So.
Sure.
Probably. You're like my cousin if you were a girl.
Oh.
Thank you. I bet you cried when you got those tattoos.
I did.
Def Noodles spent the hour telling the worst jokes the world had ever heard. In the
Well, but you don't understand. He was bombing on purpose because that's part of his character and it's part of his satire.
process picking up
All right, so I'm getting the wrong one. The second one was what I was referring to. My bad.
a 1-week Twitch ban for something said by one of the roasters. The event was so heavily criticized by the internet.
Def Noodles, this guy is just something
Too lazy to try reference. Very cool.
else.
I enjoyed this guy's videos from time to time.
I cannot believe what I just witnessed. I think I'm still trying to recover from it. This was honestly one of the more embarrassing things I've ever seen.
Def Noodles convinced himself the show was successful since it started a trend on Twitter, although it seemed this attitude changed completely. When Penguin Zero uploaded, I've never seen something this horrible.
Damn, that's brutal, man.
This was a complete fucking...
The worst part was the roast battle was terrible because the roasts had no personal connection with each other, so the roast wasn't even good. Yeah, that is definitely part of it. I don't think that those comedians were, well, they were certainly funnier than Dennis. But that's the thing, when you roast somebody, you kind of have to know them. And from what I remember, did they even pre-write any jokes for the roast? When you do roasts, you write, like when you do any comedy, you write jokes. It's like you don't just ad-lib everything. You come prepared. So I don't even remember if they had ample time to prepare, if any of them ever did prepare, or if they even really knew each other. It was just a bunch of randoms, and it's like, what can you really do with that?
disaster on a level I haven't seen before. Imagine Fire Festival, but if it actually happened and was worse than anyone could have imagined.
Critical gave a different take on why
Why does MoistCritical look like hasn't showered in this video?
the show was a
His hair looks so weird. I've never seen his hair look that weird. I don't know.
total failure.
Nobody knew each other. Literally nobody. So all they can do is roast each other's appearance because they don't know them.
Before offering a couple roasts of his own.
Like, this is what happens at like a middle school lunch table. It's like that episode of SpongeBob. Hey, so what's up with salt shake?
Why don't I cross stream? Oh, my computer's not good enough for that right now. I have to hook up my other computer. But I don't even know if I would. I like the YouTube streaming atmosphere better than any other atmosphere. It's very rounded and balanced, to be honest with you.
Shakers. Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
However, Def Noodles couldn't handle his basic criticism, as he'd respond with his own video titled My Apology to MoistCritical for First Super Roast Battles. Def Noodles spent the video sarcastically pretending he wasn't hurt.
Greatest crime that I committed was to...
I think my favorite thing was back originally in his career, when he had the cat ears on. That was when he was just the character. And then when he took the cat ears off, he was the serious guy. So he took the cat ears off and became the serious guy, but his content was the same. But
have caused the great MoistCritical to cringe. Would like to extend my sincerest apologies for causing you to cringe while...
I just don't understand this accent. It's not natural. This isn't like his natural accent. Like, why are you talking like this? Like, he sounds like Stifler's mom. Like, just talk normally. It's not entertaining. I don't understand why you always have some like a baby voice on, like you're talking to a toddler. I really don't get it. I don't know. Does he need to like disassociate to make content or something? I don't really get it.
Watching my roast battle. I am sitting here ludicrously buckling to my knees, self-deprecatingly acquiescing to the oh-so-great MoistCritical.
Joking he deserved the highest form of punishment for his failed comedy show.
Not only should I have been arrested and sent to the gulags, but I should have also been forced to live the rest of my miserable existence being waterboarded while Baby Shark plays on loop at max volume.
Dude, there's no way that he has like this weird forced Brooklyn accent. I'm just telling you, like, this voice isn't his organic voice. He's like trying to put on an accent. It's so mechanical.
In the background, and two CIA torture experts electrocute the tip of my penis with tweezers.
In the 6 hours that followed, Def Noodles received a 90% dislike ratio,
Wow,
a loss of
beast.
3,000 subscribers.
3, it looks like 30.
Def Noodles received a 90% dislike ratio, a loss of 3,000
I think he meant to say like 30,000.
subscribers, and thousands of comments completely and utterly wrecking him. This is obviously trying to be ironic, but the layers of actual self-pity and insecurity make this very hard to watch.
Yeah.
You can tell Charlie hurt his feelings. This is cringier than the roast battle itself, so much that Critical came back to spank him again.
This is going to be me talking about his response video, which I think is a very important lesson in how not to handle controversy.
However,
Wouldn't it be... We haven't had something like this happen in a while, huh? Well, no, we did. We just had the Vosh thing, actually. Never mind.
But the most notable announcement for the previous 2 videos was that Def Noodles had doubled down by scheduling another roast battle.
The only way for me to make this situation right again is to produce.
Dude, it's so interesting because if he had just continued to make the content that people liked him for, he wouldn't have lost like any real traction. Like, this isn't the stuff people liked him for. This is just 30 seconds nonsense. You know, well, I guess he got big doing Sniper Wolf type content originally.
Singer's most embarrassing.
Go back to that. That worked for you. Can't get any. And then he was started to get popularity again because he would do, not Dylan Burns cover. Oh wait, did he delete all of his old stuff? Oh my god. Okay, so he used to do like daily news stuff. I guess you could kind of compare him to Philip DeFranco, though Philip DeFranco is much better. He would do daily bullshit drama news. He called it irrelevant news. And he deleted, it looks like 3 years worth of content. Why? Okay. Good for you, man. Smart play on that one. Okay. My favorite penis fart. Wow, good for you, brother. This is definitely working for you. He's still covering irrelevant drama news anyway. Why not just do this in like a shorter form? I mean, this is clearly not working for you. Do like a little rundown of it. Like, I don't know, whatever. I don't know why I'm giving advice. Who cares?
Another roast.
Which somehow became even worse than the first one.
Alright, so Def Noodles hosted another one of his roast battles, and he somehow outdid
That's trying to erase his past. Yeah, the past that he was actually successful on. Yeah.
himself. I could not believe what I was watching. I've never seen anything like this.
Because rather than
Why no reaction to the H3 Refresh and Fit content thing from yesterday? I'm gonna put it out after the stream is over, brother. It's a 4-hour-long video. I couldn't like release it like before the stream.
casting a bunch of local comics, Def Noodles chose to invite his mortal enemy Salvo Pancakes, who filled the audience with his fans who were there to cause some chaos. The audience sat there waiting even longer than the first battle, and when Def Noodles finally walked out from the back, his roasts were physical rather than verbal.
I mean, he had every right to get him off the stage, just not like that. And that's how Dennis looks like the kind of person that has like incredible anger issues. And I'm not gonna lie, I have my own anger issues, you know. Man, am I right? But I mean, Jesus Christ, like right off the bat, like have your security guard supposedly that you paid to be there, be like, hey, you have to get off the stage. That's all you really had to do. The security guard's laughing.
After shoving Salvo Pancakes, he'd get his revenge by walking through the crowd and onto the stage, signing his own Salvo Pancakes posters, completely disrupting the show. This should have been the perfect
I think this guy disappeared too. I don't think people really talk about him anymore either.
chance for Def Noodles to roast his enemy, although in true Def Noodles fashion he hadn't prepared material and would instead get roasted by Salvo.
If we were here, there'd be nobody in the crowd.
After having a drink thrown on him, Salvo...
This is like the same as, who was it? I forget who. Was it like 50 Cent bought a bunch of like Ja Rule seats so that nobody, and then just left them empty or something like that? It's kind of like that.
Was forced out of the show by security, with the second Super Roast Battle's terrible mismanagement, giving Penguin Zero a fresh new video.
At first I thought this was staged, because it looks like something straight out of...
Why did you tell me that? He had 2 or 3 guards. The main one was Israeli. What? Why? Why is that relevant if he's Israeli?
The WWE. I was half expecting Stone Cold Steve Austin to come out with a beer and a chair and hit Def Noodles in the back with it.
With comments such
That could have been entertaining.
as, I like how Charlie has had this same format and style for years, and is still funnier than Def Noodles would ever be. Def Noodles' image was dying with every passing hour. The headshot came with Penguin Zero's 4th Def Noodles video, totaling over 10 million views worth of Def Noodles
Yeah, was 50 Cent. Did he do that to Ja Rule? Who am I thinking of?
criticism, which could have easily been avoided by ignoring Critical's first video.
I mean, he could have just even responded to it and just been like, yeah, it was kind of cringe. It was my first event. My bad. That's all. And what's funny is, like, I feel like, what is this? What am I doing? I feel like if he had just responded with, yeah, like, I watched the video. It was kind of funny. Like, I'm just trying to get into the comedy thing. It was a little rough, but I had a good laugh watching your video. 50-50 plus shot that Charlie would have reacted to it and been like, oh, no worries, man, like, hope you good luck, and then he would have gotten like a pour over of Charlie's fans to engage with him. Honestly, I wouldn't doubt it. So,
and combined with all of his previous controversy, Def Noodles' monthly viewership went from 4 million to 400,000, although despite already losing 90% of his fan base, he somehow still had further to fall. His news-related content became low-effort challenge videos, while an attempt to pivot to interviews also failed to make a difference.
yeah, that is true.
More than 1 year after the roast
That's the thing. This is the thing, though. Again, and listen, everybody's a little bit differently. There's things I can do that others can't. There's things I can't do that others can. Dennis is not a personality person. Nobody ever watched Def Noodles because they thought he was like super, they loved his personality. They tolerated his personality. It was a neutral thing. They watched him because he would collect a bunch of news and put it together. Like, he would collect a bunch of drama-oriented news. He'd be the first one to report on it, and then he would make a morning show that was out by, like, I think it was like 6 a.m. That's what people liked about his content. And there, by the way, that's not like an insult. There is something positive in somebody who's willing to like get up early, go through and do research, even on stupid drama news, and put that together and get it out to people in the morning while they have their cup of coffee. People like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Right? Like when you watch a SunnyV2 video, you're not expecting a super in-depth, like amazing thing. You're expecting like a nice summed up, like decent little entertaining story piece that you can watch, you know, on your break at work or whatever, right? That's not an insult. People are different. I can't do those things. Like if I could, I have no desire to do it. So I would never be able to do it. But like I'm decently, I think, entertaining as a personality. I'm okay. I'm not saying I will ever be, you know, 1 million views in 20 hours entertaining. But we all have a different kind of niche that we can fit or a different skill set. And he's not playing to his. The way he does commentary, it's not something that people necessarily want to sit down and listen to, especially with the grating voice. This is cringe. Let's see what.
Hi, folks. It's been amazing. Now, I like to watch people, not just walking the streets and behaving in a bizarre way in Los Angeles and in New York. I like to people.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe some people love this. I personally don't think it's particularly interesting the way that he presents himself. Right? Like that's the thing. Right. So stick to like your skill set. Be okay with what you're good at and be okay with what you're not good at. Play to your strengths. This guy could be more fucking popular and more successful than anyone, even myself again, if he got back to what he was good at. Like do something like that. Take advantage of TikTok's new monetization platform of like 1 to 10 minute videos making, you know, tremendous amounts of money. Like they do well money wise. You'll get paid about $50 per 100,000 views that you get, which I think is insane for a video that's like 1 to 10 minutes. That's fucking crazy. You know, you pull 1 million views, you get 500, and it's easier, in my opinion, to get views on TikTok. Like I'm back on there doing some stuff, and I'm doing pretty well. That, you know, do that. Get your people just aren't thinking of content strategy. Like get on to content strategy. You know, last year and a half, I reset my platform because I bubble burst too. Not the same way that Dennis's did, but mine did too. I wasn't proud of who I was as a content creator. I was getting a lot of feedback from even my wife specifically about how she didn't like my behavior. I was getting feedback from other people too. Some of it's disproportionate, but that's how it always is. And then like I was like, okay, I need to do something. I could have just kept pushing on the main channel. I decided to reset. You know, and now a year and a half later, I feel like I'm a better, more balanced, you know, less obnoxious content creator. I appreciate myself a little bit more. I like my work-life balance much better. You know, but what have you been doing the past year and a half? Posting videos of yourself, like doing this. But then what was the other one?
I've also been amazing.
Shut up. What was the other one? Like posting yourself as a sandwich, like on your Def Noodles channel. Like what the fuck is this? Like why have you given up? Everything's just given up. You know, unsubscribe again. Like what? What is this? The sandwich video, penis farts. I lied. This is probably the most entertaining video I've seen in a while.
Second time's a charm. A penis fart.
Incredible. Actually, I cannot get through it because I will cringe to death. I'm just saying.
attempt to pivot to interviews also failed to make a difference. More than 1 year after the roast battle incident, every video was still getting at least 50% dislikes and a bunch of comments along the lines of 1.5k views in 15 hours is crazy, but it's mind-blowing when you realize Dennis has over 500k subs. Who's watching these videos? Lining up interviews for an
Also, that doesn't necessarily matter. Like when you try to restructure your channel, it is what it is. Like you're gonna get a change in views at this. Like if you want to do that, just do that. I mean, you shouldn't be doing interviews frankly, but you know.
non-existent audience wasn't
I think that Dennis is a good kisser, definitely.
Worth it. So he'd instead fall in love with his own failure by uploading a video titled Unsubscribe Challenge.
I want to challenge everybody who's watching this video and is subscribed to this channel to unsubscribe. I want to see if we can break the record for being the most unsubscribed channel in the history of this platform.
This would mark the first of many insane
I mean, to me, that just sounds like view begging, right? Like, let's do a dumb challenge. I hope people engage with this. It'll be so interesting. Why? Like, that's the thing is, it gets into another conversation about, like, what do you want your audience to be like? Like, why do you, like, I don't know, you're view begging at that point. In my opinion, that's my interpretation. Try to generate an audience that likes the content that you produce and continuously produce it.
Def Noodles ramblings, including I'm fat, I'm a loser, and of course the unsubscribe challenge part 2.
You know, I don't ask for much in life. One of those things would be for you to unsubscribe right now.
Which many of his audience were happy to oblige. Over on Reddit, OKP compiled 20 different videos, which failed to achieve a single view despite being hours old.
What? He put them on... Oh, he put out videos that got no... Oh, that's from his show, the Def Noodles show.
While a different user questioned if Def Noodles had the least watched channel views to subscribers ratio. Ironically, Def Noodles has since tried to mirror Penguin Zero by launching Def Noodles New, and while some of his...
Well, he had launched that a little while before that. Still was not a particularly successful thing. You know, he launched that actually around the time I relaunched my channel, I think. I'm pretty sure that he did that about a year and a half ago. Oh no, I guess it says 7 months. I guess it was after that. No. There's not more than this? I thought there was more than just this, to be honest with you. How many? Do you think he deleted even more videos? I don't know. Man, whatever. I don't care.
Takes are surprisingly well put. His thumbnail game...
You think that the unsubscribe challenge was him trying to take control of his losing numbers, failing numbers? Maybe.
And more notably, his reputation are still in need of some serious work.
Yeah. Well...
Def Noodles.
At least I'm happier now. You know, maybe he'll get his shit together, maybe he won't. It really does not matter to me.